So after 2 days of cloud, a little bit of rain and some wind, we have an absolutely beautiful morning here. Not a cloud in the sky, no wind. I don't know, it's probably about 12 or 13 outside. Supposedly going for about 20, so it doesn't get much nicer than this. And it's been quite a nice time here. I had a little better sleep last night, so I'm feeling pretty good. Just got to get some food into me, get the energy back up, and here we go. So we're enjoying the glorious sunshine here on Marsh Lake, and in a few minutes we're going to head out around and go up onto Round Lake and have a look around for the day. I don't know if we're going to go any further. I'm a little tired, a little beat up with energy. I'm just not interested in doing a number of kilometer-long portages to see lakes. So we may stay on Round and enjoy the day. It's a good-sized lake, and there's things to look at there. And then we'll be back for another evening. And tomorrow is supposed to be beautiful too for the paddle out. So it's been a really nice time here. So other than a couple of float planes, we haven't seen any people since we left the car 2 days ago, 3 days ago, whatever it is now. And there's just a couple of guys coming in from their boats, and we've been on 9 Mile Lake, and you see, we saw the odd cottage on 9 Mile, but no people. And then up here, there's been nothing. So it's a real sense of remoteness, even though we're so close to quasi-civilization. Well, you'd have to think people did that. It's amazing it stays in the weather. There's our camp. My tent behind that tree there, and everything else in between. It's been a nice place. It's been nice there.
So beautiful, you and me.
Beautiful day, eh?
That's for sure.
So this is the portage to Round Lake, and thankfully, once again, it's a ATV slash snowmobile trail, so the walking shouldn't be too bad. So for a place where we haven't seen any people for 3 days, that these trails are in this shape is just fantastic for summer recreation when this is all basically a winter thing. But we'll take it. Last year, I talked about the pollen in the lakes in North Algonquin a couple of weeks after. This is sort of the same thing here, but it seems to be, looks different in the water. It doesn't float on top. Must be a different species of tree. They seem to be more absorbing the water, I guess you could say. And it's just a different kind of appearance, but it's a lot of it all over this area. So we're at the northeast end of Round Lake, looking for a portage. We're not going to do all that today. We're just kind of looking for scouting purposes. And what a gorgeous day here. And this lake, when you see it on the map, it looks like a big open expanse, but there's a lot of little islands and structure around the shore. It's a big, very pretty area to paddle. And today the winds are reasonably light, and it's just an ideal time to be out here.
Oh, there's the rocks. You can see them. They're straight ahead of us in the narrows. To the left, 10 o'clock. Indeed. hard to believe. We started out in nothing but a couple of hours of rain. No, it was never that terrible. This is the connection from Round Lake to, I think, Burnt Lake. Pretty cool. Looks like the beaver keeps it clear.
So this is what's left of what was probably a snowmobile trail back in the day, and you can see it's pretty overgrown. We think that probably when the government opened this trail up, this area, to becoming a conservation preserve, and then banned motorized travel, that this was abandoned. And that would be doing 20 and 30 years ago. So it's a few remnants of signs, not much though. But of course they had cleared a pretty good trail through the forest, so it kind of reminds you of an old logging road. If you enjoy my videos, I would ask at this time that you consider subscribing to Hiking with Henry and liking this video. It would help me build my channel. Thank you very much. So we found a portage at the top end of Burnt Lake that would take us north, and we followed it. It's sketchy. It hasn't been used in a long time, probably since that area was declared a parkland and the snowmobiles weren't allowed in there anymore. So we followed it. It's probably about half a K long or something, and this got us to the south end of the lake, but it's all marsh here, and Frank's just going out to see how long it takes to get his feet wet. But we didn't expect this, but it's still quite an amazing thing to see. Is there water to the left?
I think this is an ex-lake.
Really?
Yeah.
So the thinking could be that the lake, the water, beaver pond, whatever,
Yeah.
broke, and that's what we've got.
For day 3, we left our campsite marked number 1 on the map and proceeded southwest at approximately 850 meters around the corner to the portage to Round Lake, which is reasonably obvious if you know where it is. Even though these are snowmobile ATV trails, there is no large yellow sign or anything like that to identify them, so you do have to kind of know where they are. This is a fairly flat 630-meter path. However, there's a ATV trail that crosses it, and the path to the lake is less obvious. And if you're not paying attention, like I wasn't initially, you can see that small blue track to the right there where I had to reverse my path. When we got onto Round Lake, when you first see it on the map, it looks kind of boring, but there's a lot of islands and shoals and nooks and crannies and structure on the shore that make it a very interesting paddle, as we did. And according to my records, over 10 years ago, I was here on a day trip with Frank, and we managed to paddle something like 40 kilometers in one day. But we went into the southeastern cove there and walked on the trail for a while and came back and continued. I don't remember any of that, which is shameful, but nevertheless. So we paddled along the eastern shore of Round Lake up to the point marked number 3 on the map, where we had a bit of a break and a lunch. And then we went along the north shore. We thought perhaps at number 3 there would be a passage to the lake you see at the top of the map. However, there was absolutely no portage or any connection to any of those ATV trails you see marked on the right side of the map there. We proceeded along the north shore of the lake, and I had seen this body of water north of Round Lake, which is known as Burnt Lake, and I thought it might be interesting to explore it. And so we came around. It looked like a marsh, and sure enough, there was a passage through the middle of it, and we were able to get in there, which was really fun. And then once again, we decided to look for whatever trail there might have been to the north. We went around the lake, and it was only near the end that we happened upon the trail, which from the entrance actually does look fairly obvious. And we found it when we were fairly close to it actually before we noticed a few remnants of snowmobile trail signs. Because Round Lake is a conservation preserve, the snowmobiles aren't permitted there, and so I suspect that this was a snowmobile trail one time, and when the government declared this land a conservation preserve, snowmobiles were no longer allowed, and the trail had to be abandoned. So we decided to try portaging, or at least hiking up to the next lake just to see what would be there. And the lake at the top of the map is now an X lake. It is a complete grass marsh. There's no water that we could find. Whatever was holding the water in a beaver dam or something like that is clearly gone. And so there it ends. But it was still very interesting to explore that. And so we came back around and through some of the bays and back out the way we had and back to camp. A very nice day and absolutely golden weather on Round Lake.